4-stroke diesel engine is very similar in operation to the 4-stroke petrol engine. There are some key differences. So the first key difference here in the structure is the fuel injector. So instead of a spark plug, now if you haven't seen the 4-stroke petrol engine, the link is in the corner of the video. Please see that to compare. So what is happening here, instead of a spark plug, there's a fuel injector. We will discuss the function later. And here, this is another key difference. Now if you notice in the petrol engine, what is coming into the combustion chamber is vaporized petrol and air. It's a mixture of petrol and air. So for the 4-stroke diesel engine, only air enters the combustion chamber. Okay, now the other principles are the same. The crankshaft rotates in circular motion and the piston moves up and down. So as the crankshaft rotates, it moves up and down. I covered this in a bit more detail in the petrol engine video. And that's about the differences in structure. The operation is very similar. So we also have 4 strokes. The strokes are the same as the petrol engine. Now for the induction stroke, again the purpose is to bring in the reaction mixture into the combustion chamber. So the inlet valve is open. Now this time only air enters the combustion chamber. The exhaust valve is closed because we don't want any air to escape. And the piston is going to move from top to bottom, so it moves downwards. Now as it moves downwards, the pressure inside here will decrease because the volume is increasing, and this allows air to be drawn in. So when the piston reaches the bottom of the chamber, the bottom of the cylinder, so the induction stroke has completed and we are moving into the next stroke, which is the compression stroke. Now once all the air is inside the combustion chamber, in the compression stroke, this is the easiest one to remember because the name suggests its function. It is to compress the air inside the combustion chamber. So the piston moves up to press it and compress it. Okay, so for it to be compressed, of course it needs to be in a closed chamber, so all the valves are closed. So when the piston moves upwards, it compresses the air and the temperature rises. A high temperature is important for ignition of the fuel. In this case will be diesel. Okay, but here there's only air, there's no diesel. So what is happening here is the compression is 1 to 15. Now this is another key difference with the petrol engine. So if you remember the petrol engine, the air is compressed to 1/5 of its original volume. 1/5. In the diesel engine, it is compressed to 1/15 of its original value, which means the compression in the diesel engine is much greater than the compression in the petrol engine. So petrol engine, it squeezes until 20%, compresses until 20%. Diesel engine, it goes even further until 1/15. Okay, now just as in the petrol engine, by the time compression stroke is done, the crankshaft will have made 1 full revolution. So it started with up, so it starts here, induction stroke is here, compression stroke goes back down, 1 full revolution done. So when the piston reaches the highest point, now the diesel comes in. The fuel injector does its job by injecting the fuel. So since this is a diesel engine, so it injects diesel, it sprays diesel into the combustion chamber with the compressed air. Okay, so this is the between compression stroke and the next stroke, which is the power stroke. So the power stroke, here power stroke is always, remember, explosion. Okay, so here the fuel is ignited, the diesel and the air burns. Now there is diesel because the fuel injector already sprayed diesel. So again, when combustion is happening, we want all the power to push down the piston, so it's called the power stroke. So the valves are closed, both the valves must be closed. So after the combustion of the diesel and air, the piston is forced downwards. So in the power stroke, the piston moves from top to bottom and the valves are closed and the crankshaft continues to rotate. So this ends when the piston reaches the bottom. When the piston reaches the bottom, we are moving into the next stroke. So once the diesel and the air has burnt, what is left inside here is exhaust gas. All the fuel has been, the diesel has already been combusted. Okay, now we have exhaust. Exhaust gases are here. So in the exhaust stroke, the piston moves upwards. Now this exhaust gas is of no use to us, is of no use to the function of the engine. So this is a waste product. So now we want to expel it. So the inlet valve remains closed. We don't want the exhaust valve to be going here and the exhaust gases to be going here. But the exhaust valve is open. So this will allow, as the piston moves up, this will allow the exhaust gas to escape. So this is the function of the exhaust stroke, to eliminate the exhaust gases. So by the time it's done, the piston will be back to the original position at the top and the cycle will start again. We will go back to induction stroke and the whole thing happens again. It's a cycle. So by the time the exhaust stroke is done, the crankshaft has made 2 revolutions, the same as the 4-stroke petrol engine. Okay, so this is the operation of the 4-stroke diesel engine.